Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness. Day 211, 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT. Morning, Liz. Morning, Amanda. All right. Let's get to it. Let's jump into our meditation routine. I will see you guys on the other side. To be thrown away later. All righty. Welcome back, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Auntie, good morning. Marcus, happy Tuesday. All right. So we're getting back into our reading routine. And I'm going to see you guys on the other side. Damn. All righty, welcome back, everybody. So we have just finished our reading routine, and now we're getting into our journaling routine. Okay, so in the journaling routine, I like to. Eric, good morning. Good morning. Brandon, good morning. Missed you the other day. Um, in the journaling routine, I like to start off by writing about what I'm most grateful for, and in the morning, that's waking up and being in perfect health. And then from there, I go to yesterday's activities and experiences, and I write my point of gratitude for those. And then anything I wish to manifest for myself moving forward, I go ahead and write those down also. If you have any questions about that, let me know, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right. Welcome back. What's going on? Welcome back. Okay. Yesterday we were talking about a number of things pertaining to ego. And the ego is not personal. On a collective level, they are right. We are right and they are wrong. Is particularly deeply entrenched in those parts of the world where conflict between two nations, races, tribes, religions, or ideologies is long-standing, extreme, and endemic. Both sides of the conflict are equally identified with their own perspective, their own story, that is to say, identified with thought. Both are equally incapable of seeing that another perspective, another story may exist and also be valid. Israeli writer Halevi speaks of the possibility of accommodating a competing narrative. But in many parts of the world, people are not able or willing to do that. Both sides believe themselves to be in possession of the truth. Both regard themselves as victims and the other as evil. And because they have conceptualized and thereby dehumanized the other as the enemy, they can kill and inflict all kinds of violence on the other, even on children, without feeling their humanity and suffering. They become trapped in an insane spiral of perpetuation and retribution, action to reaction. I can't even begin to explain how I feel about that. But in that simple breath, it's I agree to disagree. So bringing it back to not killing each other, let's say here in the United States, just among your friends or your significant other, agreeing to disagree is one of the best tools that you can add to your tool belt. You have your opinion, great, congratulations. I have my opinion, fantastic, congratulations. We do not see eye to eye on this topic or this subject. Let's continue to move on. And that's it. No argument, no strife, no hatred. You're not wrong. I'm not wrong. You're not right. And I'm not right. How does that sound? Move on. Because we don't want to get to a place where there's humanistic suffering and stuff like that. Here it becomes obvious that the human ego is collective aspect as us against them is even more insane than the me, the individual ego, although the mechanism is the same. By far, the greater part of violence that humans have inflicted on each other is not the work of criminals or the mentally deranged, but of normal, respectable citizens. We kill each other because of differences more than we kill criminals and people who do things that are not healthy contributions to society. Greed, selfishness, exploitation, cruelty, and violence are still all pervasive on this planet. When you don't recognize them as individual and collective manifestations of an underlying dysfunction of mental illness, you fall into the error of personalizing them. What that means is there are two different realities. Again, there's two different consciousness. You have personal consciousness, and then you have the two different ways you can live your life, either spiritual or physical, and you have the collective consciousness, and you have the opportunity to choose how much you're allowing that to dictate, your behavior, dictate your personality, anything that has to do with you. Collective consciousness is one that's suggested to be built upon, Divist ego, period. ego. So anything having to extend from ego, the collective consciousness is that. Collective consciousness just simply means everybody in the world has an idea about something. So the collective, everyone has a conscious of a certain whatever. That's also known as like stereotypes. That's an easy one to talk about. Collective consciousness of collective consciousness of collective consciousness of let's say Asian people, or the Asian community. Everybody says that all Asians are brilliant and genius. Well, in fact, that's not the case. Pause. They are the case, but that is the case. But so is every other race, right? Or to say, African Americans or Black people, only make it in sports. That's not the case. Everybody has the ability to make it in sports. Just a matter of, how you train and all these other measures or what have you. But not all Black people are solely dedicated to being a professional athlete, right? These are just stereotypes. That's collective consciousness thinking. And for us, we have to transcend above that because it's such a surface level way of thinking. So to transcend above that means it doesn't directly affect our path or our journey. We're still in control, and we don't allow it to derail us to go any other direction, unless we want to. Let me see here. Greed, selfishness, personalizing them. Yep. All this enormously satisfying to the ego. It strengthens the sense of separation between yourself and other, whose otherness has become magnified to such an extent that you can no longer feel your common humanity, nor the rootedness in the one life that you share with each human being, your common divinity. We are all the same when we are naked. Period. Right? We were all born the same. And for us to kill each other over, not being able to agree again is something that's very interesting to me. War is a mindset. In certain cases, you may need to protect yourself or someone else from being harmed by another. Yes, this is true. But beware of making it your mission to eradicate evil, as you are likely to turn into the very thing you are fighting against. Why? Because ego likes to attach itself to control, to superiority. I am a spiritual guru because I wake up at 5 a.m. every morning, and I have been doing it for 7 months. That makes me better than you. So, right? So it's like that consistency, that humility turns into a superiority status. And then, it is then confused or conflicted with the idea that you can now start treating other people as less than you because they may not have been on the journey, right? So it's like, that's not right. Same thing with war. When you said, and the reason why that would happen in that sense, where we would lose our groundedness, is because ego is attaching itself to being more superior, right? You're the greatest spiritual person on this earth, and I wouldn't have it any other way, kind of thing. But when you just allow for things to be and you stay humble in your mission, then ego won't be able to take over. Fighting unconsciousness will draw you into unconsciousness yourself. So fighting or being in a situation or in some type of a drama or negative scenario, trying to fight the unconscious, you then in turn will turn unconscious. So that's not something you really want to get into either, which is even more of a reason, because a lot of the time when you're speaking to people who are in a very argumentative state, who are looking to be agitated, who are looking to fight, you're not dealing with someone, or you're not communicating, or you're not in sync with someone who is, you are potentially not in sync with someone who is vibrating on the same frequency as you. and they're more than likely living a physical experience. So with that being said, for you to agree to disagree would be a perfect idea, because otherwise you're either going to get in a confrontation or you're going to be very stressed out. So in order to just avoid all that entirely, I agree to disagree with you. I don't know who you are, or I do know who you are, and I'm not going to get into this argument with you. And you push forward. But when you're trying to fight with somebody who's unconscious, right, of who they are and how powerful they are, the way I look at it is it's two like very powerful energies coming together. You have a person over here who can completely control their reality, and align themselves with God so closely that they are able to create the most beautiful things on this earth, everything that they could possibly dream of. You have another person who has the same exact power. You're talking about meta powers. And then, boom, you guys start fighting. Or you guys start arguing and not agreeing to disagree. That is a total mess. Total mess. Or at least it can be. It could be beautiful too, but it could also be a total mess. The prison population of the United States. So the war on terror, the war on drugs, the war on disease, everything is pitted as or stated as a war on something, right? The prison population of the United States has gone up from just under 300,000 in 1980 to a staggering 2.1 million in 2004. You can only imagine what the number is now. The war against disease has given us, amongst other things, antibiotics. Thank you. How wonderful. At first, they were spectacularly successful, seemingly enabling us to win the war against infectious disease. Now, many experts agree that the widespread and indiscriminate use of antibiotics has created a time bomb, and that antibiotic-resistant strains of bacteria, so-called superbugs, will in all likelihood bring about emergency of those diseases and possibly epidemics. So what he's saying is, yes, we have the war on drugs. Yes, we have the war on terror. Yes, we have the war on disease. But in turn, the ego has gotten, the collective consciousness and ego has gotten a hold of these original wars on things, and has now exploited them as potentially being more harmful than doing good for us as a collective, which is, again, very interesting to think that how come we haven't figured this out yet? According to the Journal of the American Medical Association, medical treatments is the third leading cause of death after heart disease and cancer in the United States. Holy smokes, medical treatment. Wow. So what do? Right? Oh my gosh, if we can't go to the doctors and get medical treatment, what do? Well, we find naturopathic ways to heal ourselves. We find ways to corral and target our energy to parts of our bodies by being in tune with our bodies, eating foods that are nourishing to our bodies, studying diet plans. It's the whole reason why, like a few months ago and even recently, I was stressing the diet and being one with the body, because our bodies are our temples. And so it's really important to feed it and nourish it the best way that we possibly can, even though I just ate an apple strudel yesterday and it was awesome. And I got it at Costco and it was buy one, get one free. So I got 2 packs rather than 1. That was a mistake. But at the end of the day, it tastes really great. But to nourish our bodies, right, and to be in a state of constant, like, just nourishment is a great thing, and it brings a lot of clarity to mind. There is a deep. This is pretty much a really good summary of everything that we've done. There is a deep interrelatedness between your state of consciousness and external reality. There is nothing. I believe I have 0 limitations. We say that in our mantra. And we take full responsibility of our reality. So we're not blaming or pointing our fingers at anybody around us for either the stinky life that we live or the fantastic, most marvelous life that we live. When you are in the grip of a mindset such as war, your perceptions become extremely selective and as well as distorted. In other words, you will see only what you want to see and then misinterpret it. So war is just a mindset. Once you see the ego for what it is, it becomes much easier to remain non-reactive toward it. You don't take it personally anymore. There is no complaining, blaming, accusing, or making wrong. Nobody is wrong. It is the ego in someone, that's all. Compassion arises when you recognize that all are suffering from the same sickness of the mind, some more acutely than others. You do not fuel the drama anymore. That is part of all egoic relationships. It's simple. If we just practice this one thing, guys, our lives will be so much easier. I do it every day, so I can speak from example. But it's not always perfect, and you have to pay attention during the times when you're crabby. So for me, it's like when I'm really hungry, or if I get super tired, or if I don't get enough rest for whatever reason, that gets kind of that makes me a little crabby. But when you realize it, right, that's the first step of curing that I call it an imbalance. I don't want to be crabby in any state at all, and that's my goal. Pause. Don't focus on what you don't want. Focus on what you do want. I am happy in all states, whether I'm hungry, whether I am tired. I'm always happy, and so that's my reality. Do you want peace or do you want drama? During this time, in the book, in the chapter to end here, Eckhart talks about, do you want peace or do you want drama? That's the fundamental question you ask yourself every time you get into a dialogue with someone who might be looking for drama. Do you want peace or you want drama? And when you say which one you want, you just stick with that. I want peace. I always want peace. I am peace. I am a peaceful person, period. And so it is. So I think that, or at least I feel that that's the most important thing to remember, is that you choose which direction you want to go. You want to live a peaceful life, or you want to live a drama-filled life? And you'll know the difference. If you find yourself getting upset multiple times at multiple people throughout the day, especially people you talk to on a more regular basis, then it might be time for you to analyze your relationships, and or have a conversation with yourself to see how you're responding to people and how you're coming and approaching situations. So with that being said, I hope you all have the best day of your life. Thank you for joining me today on the Journey to Greatness, day 212 of 365. For everybody who jumped on the Justice, good morning, brother. For everybody who jumped on the messenger board this morning, thank you for showing love and support. And good morning to you. And everybody who's at home on camera, sending love and support through the camera. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's received and reciprocated. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 5 a.m. But before we leave, feel free to say my mantra, to say our mantra or the mantra out loud with me. This is my life. I am aware. I take full responsibility for my reality and thoughts. I recognize I have the power to manifest the best possible life, a life of wealth, love, and peace. I truly believe I have zero limitations. I trust my instincts, God, and universe. I am ready to transcend. I have arrived. And so it is. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 5 a.m. Love you. Peace.